Hi students, today's lesson will be on the labels. Students, the labels, in a way, they are somehow similar to mail match. The difference is the format, is the layout, the appearance, but the functionality, how you develop the labels is similar to the mail match. Okay, with mail match, it focuses on letters, while the labels are focusing on the normally the labels are used for addressing. I don't know if you've noticed outside the envelopes where you have a sticker that is pasted outside with the address and the name of the recipient. That is a label. So we will do that. Okay, the label. With the label, you go to mailings. From mailings, you will follow the same steps. I prefer the step-by-step procedure to make sure that you don't leave anything behind. Then start mail match. Then step-by-step mail match wizard. From there, the first step, you choose the type of document. So because it's labels, with mail match is letters, now it's labels, you choose a label. Then you go next. Next, now you choose the label option. So with the label option, sometimes you will be given the name or the code of the label that you are supposed to use. Or sometimes you will just be given that your labels, you must have create 21 labels where you have 3 columns and 7 rows. Let's take a look at that one as an example. You go to labels option, label options. Then if they tell you 21 labels, I prefer you to use A1, the vendor here, the label vendor. You can choose different vendors depending on the make of your label. You'll have to read your label, the paper that you use to print the labels, and then match the vendor that is on the label. But under general, if they're just telling you how many labels you must have, I would prefer that you use A1. Because why A1? Then under A1 label, it's A1. The first one, it tells you here 8 labels on this one. So we will scroll until we reach the 21 labels we are looking for. Go down, 24. I think you can see 24. Okay, we are looking for 21. 12, 10. We scroll down until you reach, you see, it's 18, 12, 14, 12. Here is 21. And you go for the 21. Then OK. You see, then we've got 21 labels. 3 columns, 1, 2, 3 columns. And rows going down, there are 7 rows going down, as you can see. So now you will see here that you can actually see the labels. This is a grid lines. These are grid lines that you are seeing. But it's not always the case that you will see these grid lines. Sometimes you go to page, to layout. You go to layout tab and then view grid lines. You see view grid lines is active. That is why you can actually see the grid line. Sometimes it will be invisible, but this doesn't mean you don't have your labels in place. The labels are there. So if this happens, you must go to layout tab and then go view grid lines. Then you will be able to see how many labels you've got, the lines, the guidelines there. You will then be able to see them by selecting the if they are not visible, because it can be difficult to manage your labels without the lines. Okay, then we go to the next step, which is step number 3. Here, that's where now you choose your list of recipients. With mail match, we had 3 sections: data source, main document, and the matched letters, which is the third one. So here as well, it's the same. The first one is the list of recipients, which is your mail match, which is your data source, I mean. You need that one. Then secondly, you will have the main document, the printed document with the fields inserted, surrounded by those strange brackets, those brackets similar to less than and greater than. Then the last one, it's where you print the actual labels with the recipient details. So here we want to generate. If you are creating your labels from an existing list, you will use an existing list of recipient, which is a data source. Then you will browse. Usually with your labels, you will use the one that you created when you were doing your mail match. So you will browse, and then students info, you use the same. Then open. Then you view the student info. Then you say okay, then to connect. But that then okay, it's connected. But it doesn't mean that if you want a new one, you say type, then you create, then you customize to create your own fields and insert your own information afterwards. But that is not the case. Let's carry on here with the existing. We assume that we use the existing one. Then this is the same. Once your data source is connected with the document, you should know that you will see by this next record. This is an indication that your document is connected to the data source. Next record. But, and also the icons here on top will be active. Address book, greeting line, insert, match field. They will be active. But one thing that you must notice is that the first one, there is no next record on the first one, because the first one is not, there is no next from the first one. The next starts from the second, because it's the next from or after the first one. So the next record, the first next record refers to the second. The second next record refers to the third, and so on like that. So what you do, let's say you are instructed that you must insert a heading on all your labels, the heading that says student information. Then what you will do, you will type student as in singular, information. Then you are instructed, then under that one, you must then insert a field, full name, on the next line, course, on the next line, or not on the next line, space, level, on the same line, you put a level. The next line, you put the period. Then you are instructed that the heading must be uppercase, bold, uppercase, and centered. And then the information, they say it must be left aligned. So you must do that. So what happens? Everything that should appear on all the labels, you must type it on the first labeled. On the first labeled. After typing it on the first label, then you go next. And then say on the fourth step here, you say update all labels. Update all labels will copy whatsoever is on your first label and copy it to the rest of the labels, to all the labels, as you can see. You see, I've clicked on update all labels. Then you can see now how the information is organized. Okay, yeah. Then maybe the instruction also comes to say on the first label you must insert an examination number on the first label. So that one you type after you have clicked update all labels. The information that needs to be inserted only on selected labels. You only type it after updating. Then I will put exam number. Assume my exam number is this one, 7890081. Whenever they say put your exam number, if they don't mention anything about the computer number, you must put your computer number next to your exam number. I assume it's computer number 1. Then they say on the last label, put your question number. I will assume this is 5D, question 5D. Capital letters, question 5D. Hey, it's not visible because it's too small, the space here. But it will show up. Let's put it here next to period. Next to period. Let's type it next to period so that it can be visible. There it is, question 5D. Then maybe they say it must be bold. And then the exam number will leave it as not bold, as is. Okay, then we are done putting the information. Then what we do next is we preview. So if they need you to print a data source, but it's not normal for the question paper to expect you to print a data source if you didn't create a data source yourself. If you've already created it in Mailmatch, if you didn't create it for labels. But if that is the case, you will go to documents. Then from documents, my data source is Windows Explorer, documents, then my data sources. Then you open your data source. Then you must open the table 1, and then you will print the data source if they want you to print a data source. As portrait, if you want landscape, you change it to landscape and then you print. Then you print there. If you want portrait, you keep it on portrait, then you print. That's how you print it, the data source. Okay, let's proceed. So the data source is the first printout. Then the second printout, if you make sure if you are doing your labels, you print them in this format where the fields are appearing like this with these brackets, less than and greater than brackets, like this. You print it in this format. And you will also print it after matching everything, edit individual. Before that, you can be requested that if they say display all borders, you must notice something. If you print these labels, these grid lines are not visible. But if you want the permanent lines that will be visible, those lines we call them borders, like in Excel. With Excel, the lines that you see on screen, they are not visible when you are printing, but they are there as a guideline. So it's the same here. These lines are not there, but if you want them to be visible when printing, you need to select the entire table, because as you can see the labels are, it's a table, this is a table, in a table, the labels. Okay, you highlight, you click, you select the entire table, then you come here to borders. If they say all borders, you click all borders. Then you can see now there are lines all over. And then when you go for printing, print on your print preview, the lines are appearing there. Okay? Yeah, so all borders. If they say that no borders, use highlight and then no borders. If let's say they want only inside borders, you highlight. As you can see, no borders now. If they say want only inner borders, you go and then inside borders. You see, the outside ones are not there, the surrounding borders. Only the inner borders are there. Okay? Yeah, so you will choose the borders. If they want outer borders with no inner, you will choose that option here, outside borders. Okay, then we proceed, preview. Make sure you print this one like this. If they want borders, you print it with borders. This one, which is the second portion. The first will be the data source, the second will be this one. But it's optional, the data source, when it comes to labels. Sometimes they want it, sometimes they don't want it. Just read the instructions carefully. Then we go next. It's a preview, this. This is how your labels will look like after printing. But here, you omit this one, you go to the next. Then you go to the very last step, 6 of 6. Then you say, edit individual labels. Then you select all. Then you say, okay. So it will be similar to your preview. Then it's like this. There is your question number on the last label. These ones are empty because we've got only 3 recipients. So it will only show labels according to the number of recipients we have. Then the rest will be empty. Then here we typed the question number, that is why it's there. Then we are done. You will then print this as it is. After printing, then you are done. I think we are clear with this one. Any questions, please raise them with me. Please. Thank you. This is the end.